Hi, welcome to Power Hour Live. Hopefully, you can hear me now. Uh, we're using brand new streaming software, and though we've practiced, still working on the kinks. Anyway, that intro you just saw was done by one of our engineers here at Teleios, Gian Bell. Thanks a lot, Gian. I'm delighted. Anyway, so today we're kind of excited about the technologies we want to show off at Power Hour. Power Hour. We kind of brought three different sets of technology uses together, and here's what they are. So to demonstrate, I'm going to need to use Slack. If you haven't heard about Slack, it's a modern messaging tool that a lot of companies use for communication. You can have channels, you can have conversations with coworkers, you can share links and that kind of stuff. Apart from that, in Slack, you can build bots. Bots are like automated chat-based applications. So you can talk to an application via chat and you can do cool stuff. We actually first spoke about bots, Akash, that was in Power 1, right? Power Live 1. Yeah? We spoke about bots back then, and it was demonstrating how to build a Facebook bot. And I was thinking just the other day, the first time we actually used bots in public, we did it for Teleios Jam. Teleios Jam is our program we use to encourage young persons who are learning software development about how we do it here and how they can use it while they're learning it to make meaningful solutions. So, Teleios Jam 1 happened in 2008, and at that event, we wanted to demonstrate the use of Skype for business. Skype, actually, not Skype for business. Skype together with SMS. So at Teleios Jam, on the day of Teleios Jam, because it was all one day, I think it was November 5, it was all one day, you use Skype together with SMS. So you can send a text message, and it would have invoked a Skype client, which would have started a call, and at the event, which was Teleios Jam in 2008, the text we sent was, "No one in the code jam has swagger like us." It was amazing. It was fun. So anyway, we've had a fascination with bots since then. So our first Power Hour featured bots, and we want to talk about it again today. We've built this bot. Let me show you how it works immediately. We're going to switch so you can take a look at my demo screen. We built this bot, and you can see here, though it has my name, it's actually at Hansard Speaks. I'll talk about Hansard in a little bit. But if I send it a message, say Trinidad, it will, after a little while, say, "Hey, I didn't find anything related to Trinidad," which is funny. Let's try test. And it said, "Test was found inside of the mind of a master procrastinator." So this bot, as Slack is helpfully telling us here, is saying this text test was found inside of this video, and if I were to click on this link, I don't need to click on it, you can see it there. It's a regular YouTube link, but it starts at time 197. So now let me click on it. It's going to load up. I think there's going to be an ad first. I can skip that ad. So you probably can't hear this.
And to test this, I found an MRI lab that actually let me scan both
found inside of this video. I don't know if you heard it, but he just said, "and to test this," and that was at just before 3:25. So what just happened? Well, what just happened? You saw me load up a bot or have an interaction with a bot in Slack, and that interaction was to send it a message. The bot replied, the first message I sent, which was Trinidad, it said, "I found nothing related to Trinidad." But then I sent it with test, and it replied with the link of a YouTube video, and not just the link of the video, but where in the video that word was spoken. So this is of course, not just about replying with an echo like we did before. It's actually doing something in the back. So let's talk a bit about what that thing is. To start us off, what technologies are we using? So clearly we're using bots. We're using bots in Slack. Beyond that, we're also using YouTube videos and how YouTube lets you link to a particular location for a video. Going more deeply, we're using Azure Media Services, which we'll have one of our developers talk to you about a little bit. And we're also using web services for querying these services. So to start us off, let me start with Akash. Akash, so this is a bit of a setup because we have Akash on a call here. So let me transition to him.
Hello. So this is a very simple console app which downloads a video from YouTube and stores it locally on my machine. It then takes that video and uploads it to Azure Media Services where it's stored. So I'll show you Azure Media Services. So this is the Azure portal, and here you'll see the videos that I've uploaded. So once the video gets uploaded, a job is started which does transcription on the video. So it takes the video and it produces closed caption information. So it converts the video to text essentially, and that's it. So once we have the video and we have the text, we can then use that for the next part of the process. So I'll take it away to Owen, who will describe that part of the process.
We were able to run it through Azure Media Services. Media Services is a tool that Azure provides as a platform as a service solution they provide, which lets you build solutions involving processing media assets, for example, videos or audio and so on. So for this example, Akash would have run the video through Media Services, which would have produced, beyond just different formats of the same video, say for low bandwidth scenarios and that kind of thing, it would have also produced a transcribed result that could then be used further on. In other words, Media Services would have taken the video he provided and pulled out the text, but not just, so I've done transcription before, and for me transcription is just typing out what I hear without actually tracking the locations where that thing is heard. Media Services does one better. You were able to see that when we invoke the bot, it provided a time URL. So for more on that transcription process and what Azure Media Services had actually done, let's kind of talk to Anand, another developer at Teleios, in terms of how this works.
So we were talking about the transcription that Azure Media Services created. I'm not sure if you all are able to see my screen as yet. I'm going to pop up some information for you. Can you just tell me over? Okay, so Azure Media Services, as Akash mentioned, produce a large number of files for us. I'll just show you some that they produce. So this XML file here actually shows you the times where particular text was said in the video. So it gives you essentially the begin time and the end time of that sentence or phrase that the person made. So as you can see, there are a lot of information here, and we will actually take that information and use it to search, and it essentially return the time that the search query was set. So what I did was something very simple, which is I essentially added the document to a search index. I used a search index called Lucene.net, which is a port of a search engine called Lucene from Java. It makes it very easy to search information. Essentially, you feed it your text, You could add different fields. So I guess I could show you what that looks like here. Since you add the different fields that you want. In this case, I added a transcript field, which holds the points in time for, well, actually the text at a particular point in time. I also determined the point in time in the video where that that text is said, and I store that in my search index. So after storing all these documents, I have now the ability to essentially search for any information stored in that index very easily. Again, so this would be the search method, which is essentially just opening up the index and loading up my query, and this would essentially just return the results of that search. So let me show you that search right about now. So it's a web API, ASP.NET MVC application. So we could manipulate the URL to get results as we want. So as you can see, it's showing XML here, but obviously you can get JSON if you desire, if you send the appropriate content type. So what we could see is for childhood education, we notice in this video the 10th sitting of House of Representatives. There was some reference to childhood education at 127. So if you actually go to YouTube right now and search for 10th sitting of the House of Representatives, Friday, December 2nd, and at time 127 seconds, you'll actually hear a reference to childhood education. So that's essentially one half of it. The other half would have been, we did a topical search. So in addition to the file that I mentioned that Azure Media Services produces, which is this TTML file, I think it's, I can't remember the detail, but essentially it's captions for the video. Media Services also produced a they also produced a keyword file, I think. Sorry, was that Mavis? Yes, Mavis. Mavis produced a keyword file. Fortunately, I don't have it open. Let me see if I can get it open for you. All right. So this essentially, this other file produced like words that were said very often within the and keywords within the video itself. It have a lot of information in here that we could use for different scenarios. However, all I did rather, was store the keywords in another index that could be searched by by any application or human. So I can show you that, but it's more of the same. All we did was we searched the keywords field in our index and return the results. So the Lucene search engine, pretty powerful, allows you to do a lot of work without having to write a lot of code. So that's basically it for me. I'll hand it over back to Erwin so we can get to the fun part.
And that is pretty cool. I mean, I see what you did, and when we spoke about it, you mentioned Lucene, and I was like, oh, Lucene, she's probably very nice. And I didn't really think about it. Just one sec. I expected to see a bunch of link queries, link for the sake of the audience, as language integrated query, which is a way of using C# to talk to databases. So I expected that you would have kind of had a SQL Server database somewhere there. That's not what this is, right?
No, it's not what it is. So if you want to go more on it, Lucene is a separate search engine. It stores its index separate from, well, whatever content that you're trying to store. So if you could see in my Solution Explorer, you have some files that they actually use to query. The search is pretty quick, and again, it does a lot. It does a lot for you. It allows you to do like matching and alternative words and plural and all kind of fun stuff. You could even get back highlighted text of where in your document the search query appeared and that kind of stuff. So similar to how Google would show where in the text it might bold the place where your search query shows up in the document. So you could do all that stuff with Lucene. So it's pretty powerful.
Got it. Good to know. I'm still a bit awestruck by what you're showing me. Moving on then, thanks a lot, Anand. So let's kind of move along the track. Let's kind of move along the track. Sorry. Back to the bot we had just shown. So, of course, we're back in Slack, and you can see that first test. So it means, and if I come here and I search for childhood, I think my service just needs to be pointing to your URL, Anand. So how
Yeah, I
would
think that's what it does.
Say again?
Yeah, I think that's what it needs to do.
So let's come across the application. It says caption, search, and all that cool stuff. Right, I had made this change, so I'm just kind of taking you through the process of this bot. But just before that, only last week, Ryan Shripad, Ryan, are you still on the call? I know you were here earlier. Only last week, he showed us a much more useful way of creating bots. Before that, when we had demonstrated the Facebook bot one, you had to kind of go to GitHub, use the libraries provided, and when you were finished, you just had a Facebook bot. Instead, Ryan showed us a bot framework. The framework Ryan demonstrated us last week was the Microsoft bot framework. Very, very, very useful if you're looking to develop bots and you want them to target a number of platforms. So let me pull up that page right now. So it was as easy as going across the bot framework page, downloading the sample application they provided, which is what we were using here, downloading the sample application and literally modifying just the one message, the one method that handles receiving messages, which is posts. Beyond that, they also provide an emulator, so you can build your bots and then test them locally first without having to wait to submit it to a site somewhere and that kind of thing. So this bot is configured to work locally. However, I'm not running the local solution. So just one moment. To run that, I can just fire up my website in Visual Studio. And so remember, I downloaded this bot framework from downloaded the application, the sample application from the bot framework site. Once it was downloaded, I could have modified it to suit. The starting bot was an echo bot, so it would let you reply. It would reply to messages sent automatically. So really, really useful start. Beyond that, so it was easy to start, easy to get into. The fancy thing really came when you were registering bots. So let's just show you this bot working locally. So I can type childhood here, and it should be attached to the new service Anand just demonstrated, as opposed to the older one I was using. See if it's running fine. Great. So notice these are the replies from my local service. So it says these are the results. This one, the 10th sitting, part 2, and so all these various timestamps, time at 127 seconds, 3000 seconds, 3400, and so on. So you can click on any of these and it'll produce the result. So that was using the bot framework. Well, it was very useful for me. This bot framework allowed me to register a number of channels. So I could have registered with Slack, Facebook. Let me pull up with a few others that are available. So while I'm pulling that up, so that change is local, so I can actually deploy that change to the production site. And I do, since the site is hosted on Azure, I can add my changes, commit them, and then push. So let's push those changes up. So notice at the moment it's saying I found not related to that. It's because the bot isn't updated just yet. So it's running the update commands. Great. So it being up, I should be able to come over here and search for childhood. Give it a few moments to start back. It's restart, and now look at my result. It says it was found in these 4 places. So I just updated the bot. Microsoft and its bot framework handles getting that result to the various channels I'm attached to. So it's attached here. I can also show you this same bot working on Facebook. Let me just pull up Facebook right now. So you can see we have a bot here called Hansard Speaks, and if I were to search again for childhood, you would see the results, similar results on the other side. The fancy thing for us is that we didn't have to write specific implementations for each bot channel that exists. Instead, we wrote it once, and the Microsoft bot framework handled everything else. And that is it. So it's how we really enjoy the process of going from. It would be cool if you could search, for example, I don't know if you all remember, a little while back we were talking about the tax increases. If you could search for tax on a bot, and it could tell you, oh, we spoke about tax on the 4th sitting of the Senate on the 24th of October, and a few other places as well. And of course giving you links to the videos in question. So for us, we just brought together a set of technologies that we've been familiar with for a while. We went from taking a video and storing it in Azure Media Services, running their analytical tools in it to retrieve the transcription data, and then rewrote web services that worked on top of that, as you saw Anand describing, that allowed us to query the content using the Lucene search engine. And finally, we wrote a bot using the Microsoft bot framework that provided easy access to searching that web service. The nice thing with bots as well is your users don't have to go and learn a new interface. If you were doing bots for other reasons, they could go ahead and just interact with you via the clients they use all the time. There are a few other examples of channels, including SMS channels and even direct line channels, so that you provide a lot more of a surface area for your users to interact with your solutions. Let me take a look at Facebook Live to see if there are any questions or comments on that side. So Sean, what do you think?
It's great.
Yeah, I agree with this. Isn't it exciting?
Are they using it officially as yet?
If they're using it officially as yet, I don't think so, but I expect that they'll be interested in what this can do for them. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Teleios Power Hour Live. We were off to a bit of a shaky start, we apologize, but it turned out to be fun in the end. All right, cheers.